What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Old Duelist, Old Cards Still Having It in 2025. Reeki is spiking up in price for multiple variants, and who would have thunk that a card you can slap down that says, destroy all monsters on your opponent's field, would still have it? Yeah, it's kind of obvious that this would float back into formats, depending on the cost you wanted to initiate and cards you wanted to play in your deck, and Reeki is forcing either negations from your opponents or taking care of a lot of problems that they have. The altar art is doubled up in price from $6 towards $12. That's the lowest listings as well as the current sales. Also, the quarter century secret rare is bouncing back up. The graph is very weird on this, but if you go through the sales history, it actually was up towards 60 after being 30 to 40, then fell back down towards 45 and has now started selling towards 55, 54. So it's had a bit of a roller coaster, and the lowest listings right now are around 52. There's so many nice versions of Reeki, but the top one may be dethroned soon. I've never liked the ultimate rare. I think it looks really ugly. LOB first is realistically the true top one, the OG, but this just never looked nice, and ultimate rares are falling out of favor to some degree from OTSs at the moment, and here you see the market has been downward mostly on this version despite all the hype going into Regekis in general. They were selling for more, and they're listed for a little bit lower at the moment, although most of them are still towards 55. It feels like we could see that back and forth with the QCR. There's the secret rare out of the older 10s, the prismatic secret rare, as well as the Legendary Collection's Joey World Secret if you want that classic pattern. And then we have the recent Retro Pack Ultra throughout here as well. So many different nice versions to choose from and pick from. And there's also the Legendary Collection Kaiba Ultra. There's so many different Ultras and secrets. But it's not expensive if you just want a nice looking version. But the top end of Reeki is absolutely going up and out. And another oldie from LOB, Polymerization, all of its QCRs are trending up. This is that original altar art that looks really great from the show. It was around $8 and is now towards 15, and it actually has the sales to back it here too. You see one at 15, a couple at 20, one at 17, and many at 15. I think that when it comes towards polymerization, as long as there's cards like Edgemp Chain that are going to make it searchable and are splashable in engines, or the ability to search it with other cards, like, you're gonna see this card become relevant again and again. And if you're an old head vendor, you know that every version of this card used to sell, and so the top end of it just makes sense, although that would also be first at OG to many people. We have the altar art with heroes. I've been on this since day one saying I really liked it. It has been trending up very consistently. The graph actually dips back down, but you can see the lowest listing is towards the top of that at 22, and it goes towards 25 plus very quickly. And then the OG art in QCR was nothing but down till lately and is now springing back up. There's one listing at 8 before it's in the 9s and quickly 10. So sometimes an old trick still got a bit of something for the metagame. I don't talk politics too much here on the main channel unless they affect you, and soon they very well might be. We have coming in August 29th, the packages under $800 will be indefinitely affected by tariffs unless there is a pushback once again. So we'll have to wait and see for that, but currently it's looking not so hot. I ship in a lot of stuff from Japan. It'll affect that, but for most TCG players, it will be affecting EU, UK products coming in of pretty much any size order it's looking like. So be aware that the prices are going to go up on overseas cardboard coming in. I know Tier 0 has actually floated the idea of a US office and looking to settle in here, so maybe they're doing some of the job that they're wishing they would, but I think overall it's just going to rise a lot of cost in many industries. We'll have to wait and see the actual fallout and effect and what people are spending because of it. I already know there's reports of like certain sectors going up, but this will be all-encompassing for the most part, it's looking like. And then we move on back to the cards. Draco Tales. We have, if you just want to play this deck, it being the most expensive out of Justice Hunters at this point. Mululu is up towards $15, and then you have the Femina at $20. What is happening with this deck? You just want access to these ultras. Here's another $14, $15 one. I thought Yummy was the deck to beat, but the waifu tax is real. Slash, this deck feels like the most fun to lab and splash and go around with, and people are buying in. And with that, the higher versions of it too. Mululu Collector Rare is also on full buyout mode and is towards $60. And what I thought would happen, Femina, which does have its Starlight Rare that's also going up, its Collector Rare went up from being too close to the Ultra Rare and has begun to spike even further and is now towards $40. Draco Tales just got it like that. It does really feel like, in terms of people being big fans of this deck and it going out and up on quantities. But the weird thing about this is, we talked about Justice Hunter Sealed heading up through last weekend. It's all the way back down and further right now at $65 a box with mass listings. 69 boxes right here, 10 boxes right here, tons of them lining up until we finally get back towards that $70 range, still on the front page. But that's a big wall. That's a good amount of cases, over 5 cases right here, and then you include all these, it's like 7 cases of it at the lower end trying to undercut each other and make that sale. I'm head scratching a bit because the value inside versus the chase pulls and things going up versus this coming back down, it is concerning. It's kind of a little bit odd at this point. Let me know if this set is actually mappable as well, where you can kind of tell where the Starlights, QCRs, Starlights and QCRs, Starlights and Collector Rares, QCR is done. I'm sorry, it's been 3 years that we've been under that. But jokes aside, it is interesting to see it dip once again, and that's not a small dip. That's over 10% of the value of this set when it's the hottest set we've seen all year, and this just seems extremely odd of a direction right after the set went up in value, and it's so tumultuous within a week to see it go up and then back down. Like, that's less than 7 days for that pattern. Borrel Savage Dragon, haven't said this card's name in a while. Its QCR is getting bought out, and the Starlight's starting to go back up because we saw new Rocket Borrel support for the upcoming set, and people are like, oh boy, this could come back. I personally don't think so, but we have seen weird ban list moves made to sell sets in the past. I hope not, is more what it is, but I wouldn't think it would. But anything banless is speculation, and you can see people talking with their wallets right now. This was doing nothing but going down and has over doubled to almost tripled in price for its QCR. And the same with the Starlight, it was mostly downward traction, and here go those sales all the way up to $50 on it. Quick launch, the holographic versions have gone up for the secrets, and you still do have the ultra rare as well here that has not the most copies in the world, not the least, but the secrets are getting bought out. Borrel and quarter century secret rare. This is a card I always found kind of weird how cheap it was, and then it did see its limelight and then it went back to being cheap. It spiked among the new support, and pretty heavily so. The lowest copies are almost $7 at this point for this QCR. And then Borrel Furious Dragon already was trending up. I believe we talked about this before on one of its spikes, but it's towards $5 at this point and already was up there. Pretty good for a structure deck card. Let me know what you think about everything going on. I know it's a lot whenever we talk about me going towards Yu-Gi-Oh! Conspiracy theory. Some of y'all really enjoyed that, while others were like, sad to see the channel go this direction. And I'm like, look, I'm backing it all with examples, and there have been direct examples of cards like Bountiful Artemis being a Jerome card, fan favorite, put into an OTS Ultimate Rare? Do you think it's a coincidence that Out of Time, Bountiful Artemis, was actually put in, like, the OTS packs, and everybody's like, why? What's this doing in here? And it was never all that successful as an Ultimate Rare, yet Jerome topped with Counter Fairies. You don't think he jumps at the chance to give himself a little something hollowed out in here? Of course you eventually put your legacy into the cards when you're in the TCG office and you're in the driver's seat for picking. That's how it works. Japan is not picking all of our set list when it comes to our TCG exclusive products like the tins. They are also not picking those rarities necessarily. A lot of the time it's the TCG office. Do keep that in mind. So I'm backing from examples and my experience and what I've learned over the years to form said theories, but they do take multiple places, and I can be wrong. But saying it's sad to see me go into that kind of theory, people make much more rash, realistic, instant choices when it comes to the market than that, and I've heard way wilder things on every single market channel than what I brought up yesterday. But hey, that's just me, and I want to have fun when I am talking about things, and I do heavily emphasize speculation or those kind of things when I am bringing up the theories, to be fair. I'm not saying, yeah, it's this way. I'm like, I think it's this way because this, and this, but that's still speculation. And I think that's a very important annotation to the conversations we're having here when it comes to speculation. Thanks for watching, everybody.